Just wanted to give the latest update on me. As you know, Dorian did do a little bit of damage to North Carolina, mostly from tornadoes, but it appears that my gale shield really did weaken this storm quite a bit. The reason the Bahamas suffered so much damage, even though I believe it was a weak Category 4 when it hit the Bahamas, it was not a 5, was simply because it was just sitting on the Bahamas for days and days. You know, for the Bahamas, even a Category 4 storm, if it just sits there for like 4 or 5 days, can be devastating and just as bad as a 5. So you might say, why would Loree McBride lie about Dorian and say that it's a 5? The reason why is because at that time, she wanted to use Dorian to devastate me in Florida. And she knew that I was encouraging people to do the Gale commandments. So she thought that if she could convince people that there's no such thing as a Gale shield, that I'm totally crazy and they shouldn't listen to me, that she might be able to break through my Gale shield and get me in Florida. This is what I'm hearing brain to brain. My men are in a court case with Loree McBride, and they've been fighting her over a lot of things. Basically, she's claiming that I'm crazy and that my book, Bible for Tribulation Saints, should not be admitted to the canon of Scripture. See, she's really pissed at Christianity and evangelicals right now, because this is what I'm hearing brain to brain. All the major theological seminaries, Christian theological seminaries, with some exceptions, have decided that my Bible for Tribulation Saints should be an addition to the biblical canon. They say it has the words of the real Jesus Christ, and he brings up topics that we need to know about in our time. And so this is a very, very important book for us to know what God's will is for our time. So they feel it should be added to the biblical canon. And Loree McBride was furious because the Jesus who's been speaking with me, who is the real Jesus, by the way, he says Loree is too prideful. And he also says, this is in Bible for Tribulation Saints, because I have all the quote in Bible for Tribulation Saints. I have everything that Jesus said to me through Brent Spiner, Judge Terrence Jenkins, or ex-Antichrist Zach Knight. Mostly Brent Spiner, exact quotes from Jesus. And Loree's saying that isn't a Jesus. That's a fake Jesus. That's somebody that they made up. She doesn't like this Jesus because this Jesus says that Loree is too prideful. And he's also stated that Brent never, ever wanted Loree McBride from day one, from Jesus himself. So Loree is saying, that's not a real Jesus. And she's been trying to ban the book. In other words, people bought the book in 2017, and then some of the seminaries like Dallas Seminary, Dallas Theological Seminary, and some of the others have been reading it and saying, hey man, this book belongs to the biblical canon. These are words from the deity himself. And they said they could tell that it was the real Jesus based on their knowledge of the Bible and, you know, their knowledge of theology and Christian history and everything. They said, yes, it is obvious that the real Jesus has spoken in this book. And because there are so many quotes from Jesus Christ himself in Bible for Tribulation Saints, this book should be admitted to the canon. And Loree's just furious because people are reading Bible for Tribulation Saints and they're reading what Jesus says about her. And of course, she doesn't like what Jesus says about her. And she says, I think she actually banned the book from being sold for about 9 months. And my men have been in court fighting her about this. And she said, here's how I can prove that Bible for Tribulation Saints has a fake Jesus. I'm going to send a hurricane. She says there's a hurricane going to Florida, and let's see if Gale's Gale Shield can beat this one up. So you're saying that her Gale Shield stopped Irma from devastating Florida and stopped Matthew. Well, what about the one that's coming right now, Dorian? And I hear she did something different with actually just about all the hurricanes that have been in existence from 2017 forward. have been created by Loree McBride or Angelina Ballerina. Angelina Ballerina was the first rebel Jesuit against ex-Antichrist Zach Knight. And then when Angelina died on January 6, 2017, Loree McBride took her place. Loree McBride is the biggest liar on the planet. And she's behind all the big tech censorship. So she said, apparently she put Satan's semen in Hurricane Dorian. And she thought that would be the way to cause it to overcome my Gale Shield. But from what I understand is that was actually a violation of Satan's non-interference agreement with Jesus. You'll read about the non-interference agreement if you get Bible for Tribulation Saints. So I hear brain to brain that Jesus Christ put his semen in my Gale Shield to counter Satan's semen in the Hurricane Dorian. And therefore, and because I was encouraging everybody to do the Gale Commandments, and because I've been doing the Gale Commandments, we were able to weaken Hurricane Dorian incredibly before it came to the United States. But unfortunately, Loree McBride was able to block my YouTube videos from reaching the Bahamas. This is what I'm hearing. So the people in the Bahamas were not doing my Gale Commandments. So when Hurricane Dorian hit the Bahamas, it was very strong. It was a Category 4, which is bad. I mean, maybe it wasn't a 5 or it wasn't going 185 like Loree said, but even a weak Category 4 sitting for 5 days over the Bahamas would be devastating. So those people need our prayers. And they never got my YouTube videos, I hear. I was telling everybody to do the Gale Commands. It's possible that if everybody in the Bahamas was doing the Gale Commandments, they wouldn't have been hit so hard with Hurricane Dorian. So she blocked my, and now she's really pissed that everybody listened to my videos and at Twitter, they read my tweets, and at Facebook, they read my posts saying, everybody do the Gale Commandments if you're in the path of the hurricane, and it worked. It really weakened this hurricane. So she was super duper pissed. And now she's on a rampage, man. I was in Twitter jail for about 12 or 14 hours because I used the word retard to describe a Loree McBride Jesuit who was trying to intimidate me from saying that I felt that Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard should run third party and leave the Democratic Party. And he called me he said, you know, this is one of the, you're crazy as it is, Gail, but this statement really shows how crazy you are. And then I went back at him and I called him a Loree McBride retard. You can't use the word retard in social media right now. If you describe somebody as a retard, that's considered hate speech. Even if the person is not a retard, but you just use that term to describe them as, you know, as a stupid, bigoted person, which is what was, because I actually don't think that person that I called a retard at Twitter was an actual retard. So it wasn't like he had a disability. He was just an evil Loree McBride Jesuit. And my personal opinion is anybody who follows Loree McBride is a stupid, bigoted person, i.e. retard. So, you know, that's what I think. But in fact, maybe I might get this YouTube video taken down for saying, I don't. But the way I'm doing it, laughing and everything, I'll probably be okay. But if I said it real mean and vicious, and if I acted like I was serious, I might be in danger of having this video taken down to YouTube for using that word. You can't use any adjective. Actually, I think they knew that I knew the guy wasn't a literal retard, but just a low IQ, evil person who's a bigot. And, you know, it's ridiculous. You got to be so careful what you say. And actually, it boils down to this. It just boils down to this. If your political views don't align, in other words, if you're not Silicon Valley, if you're not a Silicon Valley liberal, and if you don't kiss Loree McBride's butt, you're in danger of getting censored. So that's how, and Lord, you know how Loree's doing it? And this is what I hear she's doing. She's taking over big tech with her clones. And she tries to get the CEO. Like, I'm hearing that Jack Dorsey is having major clone trouble at Twitter. And actually, Jack Dorsey, I believe the real Jack Dorsey likes me, but his clone, Jack Dorsey's clone, has taken over Twitter. And that's the problem. And that's why I got put in Twitter jail. So I've completely moved over to Gab, folks. And then Gab got offline today. After I posted a bunch of, I'm tweeting now at Gab. What I do is I copy and paste the tweet from Twitter, put it in Gab, and I'm doing all my comments at Gab. And I refuse to do any tweeting at Twitter now. Because Loree McBride's taken over Twitter. So now Twitter's a criminal organization. She's pretty much taken over YouTube too. So that makes YouTube borderline criminal. I'm hearing what's going on. You know, we're having massive problems with big tech censorship. Everybody knows that. Anybody who's sane. The reason it's happening, people, is because Loree McBride has taken over big tech with all her clones. She tries to get the top dog, the CEO, but if she can't do that, she'll get as many of the workers at that organization as she can. She replaces them with Loree McBride Jesuit clones, and that's how she's banning everybody, basically. That's what she's doing. It's a clone takeover of big tech. The reason, but what's really interesting is I've had some problems at YouTube. They've taken down my Forbidden Abyss, one of my Forbidden Abyss children's audio videos. Plus, they took down the playlist I made about that, and then I had that all up at BitChute. And so, and anybody who's following me on Twitter, I'm no longer tweeting at Twitter. All of my tweets are at Gab. Gab's going to get back up because Jesus Christ actually made a statement. He said he wanted me to remove all of my political comments from Facebook, Twitter, Gab, and YouTube, especially in regard to some alt-right views that I was proposing. And he just said, Gail, it's a losing proposition to debate on these topics. It's like debating, he said, debating on these topics is like getting in a debate with a retard. It said it's just a waste of time. It's just you going around in circles. So Jesus said, just drop it. He wants me to pretty much stay off politics, so I'm going to do that. But I am going to report that a lot of the big tech censorship that is happening, it's happening because of clone takeovers at YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Though I've never, ever been banned at Facebook yet. Of course, maybe I'm going to end up eating my words. I know it's happening to a lot of other people. And I asked my men about it. I said, how come I've been put in Twitter jail and I've been in YouTube jail for like videos I made 4 or 5 years ago that all of a sudden are bad, you know? It seems like when and this is what men are telling me. They said Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook likes you. And he has threatened to fire anybody at Facebook who tries to ban you. And Loree has not successfully made a Mark Zuckerberg clone. I'm not sure why that is. Now, I know they can't make a clone of me, and I have King David genes, so maybe he's got some King David. He's Jewish, so maybe he's got some King David genes in him somewhere. But they haven't had luck with the Mark Zuckerberg clone, from what I've been told. But of course, that doesn't. Or maybe he's found a way to make sure the clone doesn't take over Facebook. But Jack Dorsey's having major clone trouble, along with Brent Spiner. And so basically the Jack Dorsey clone is running Twitter, and there's whoever the YouTube CEO is, Susan or whatever it is, I think they've got a clone of her running YouTube. And Gab right now, I hear, is in the process of moving totally onto Church of Gail. And so maybe they can get back online. That would probably be a good idea to have everybody at Gab move on to Church of Gail for their protection. Because now that I've divorced myself from Twitter and I'm going to Gab, Loree McBride's going to try to take down Gab. But she won't, because Jesus already stated that Gab, it appears that Gab, Twitter, and Facebook are going to be around during the tribulation. So she's not going to succeed she will not successfully take them down. So, folks, this is what's going on with me. I'm no longer tweeting at Twitter. If anybody wants to support me, one time I've got my PayPal email. I'll list it at the end of this video. I could use some support. I'd appreciate it. But I'm no longer tweeting at Twitter. I'm totally over at Gab, and I hear Gab is all of the Gab workers are moving on to Church of Gale for their safety.